So when it comes to bid strategies in search, we really only have three options. They're conversions focused, clicks focused, and impressions focused bid strategies. So within each of them, you'll see there are multiple options. So within conversions focused, we actually have 5 different options. Within clicks focused, we have 2, they're simple, and impressions focused actually only 1. So it gets quite simple, but conversions focused is really where we want to be. Now it's important to say though, if you want to use conversions focused bid strategies, you need to have tracked conversions. Now what I mean by this is that you need to actually go to Tools and Settings, Measurement, Conversions, and you need to make sure that you set up some conversion actions here. So for this particular account, we've already got some. It's a connection with Shopify in the back end that's tracking purchases, not only the number of purchases, but also the conversion value here. But if you wanted to get some conversions tracking here, you'd simply go New Conversion Action. You could import these directly from Google Analytics, Salesforce, anywhere really. You can make sure to start tracking phone calls. If you've got an app, you can leverage that or get it happening directly from the website. So this is all ways to start getting conversions tracking so that you can actually use conversion-based bid strategies. Otherwise, you literally have to stick with maximize clicks, manual CPC, or target impression share, which are the clicks and impression share focused bid strategies that we just saw. So the first bid strategy that you might have heard of is called maximize conversions, very common. It's literally going to spend your entire daily budget and get the most amount of conversions possible. So as an example, a local electrician wants to spend $25 per day and he wants as many phone calls as possible. So he's going to use maximize conversions that ensures a consistent and steady rate of spend, and he can get as many phone calls as possible within that $25. So turning to Google Ads to see what that looks like in practice, we click on our campaign, we go settings, we would go into bidding, and we would need to change the bid strategy to maximize conversions. And that's the maximize conversions bid strategy. The next conversions focused bid strategy is maximize conversion value. It's doing the same thing. It's going to spend your full budget, but it's going to focus on conversion value as opposed to the number of conversions. So this is typically for e-commerce, right? This is where, for example, an online shoe store wants to spend $20 a day and they want as much revenue as possible. So the system might prioritize when it's bidding. It might prioritize someone who's looking to buy a pair of $400 shoes over 2 or 3 people looking for $50 shoes. Again, turning to Google Ads, what that looks like is simply clicking here, maximize conversion value. Next up, we have target CPA, super common, super effective. It's literally going to set bids for you to get as many conversions as possible while targeting a specific cost per action. That's the CPA. So for example, if a massage parlor takes bookings for $100 a piece, they could set a target CPA of $50, which tells Google that they want as many conversions as possible at an average rate of $50 per conversion, which ensures that they can get profitable bookings. The next one to look at is target return on ad spend, and this is doing the same thing. It's going to spend as much as possible. It's going to spend the full value of the daily budget, but it's going to try and get as much conversion value as possible, all while focusing on a target return on ad spend goal. So an example of this is like an online health food store that sets a target return on ad spend of 440%, because it is a percentage that we set when we're determining this, and that means that they want to generate $4.40 for every $1 that's spent on ads. Now it's very interesting to know that what this actually looks like in practice is simply that target CPA is literally maximize conversions adding a target on top. Target ROAS is just maximize conversion value adding a target on top. So what this ends up looking like is that we click on maximize conversions here, and then we simply set a target cost per action, and it's going to recommend one to us based on the past performance. And by implementing the target cost per action, we're actually using target CPA as a bid strategy. It used to be available on its own to be selected. Now it's just an add-on to maximize conversions. Similarly, we go maximize conversion value. We set a target return on ad spend, 150%. We could go 200. We could go anything really. And then the campaign bid strategy becomes target return on ad spend. The final one to look at is enhanced CPC. Now I got to admit this is far less utilized, and I'd recommend using target CPA or maximize conversions any day over this. But what it is it's basically taking your manual bids and it's just giving you the chance to adjust them automatically on the fly. The system is going to basically increase that bid slightly above what you've set as the manual limit, or it's going to lower it below the manual limit based on certain signals that it will indicate how likely that user is to convert. So essentially it's like going in manually, but also giving the system some room for automation. Now, all that looks like in practice is simply selecting manual CPC and then jumping on with the enhanced CPC options below it. And you can choose to optimize for the volume of conversions or conversion value. Again, though, I think it starts to get a bit iffy here. If you're going to go manual, then go manual. If you're going to go automated, then just go automated with maximize conversions or target CPA, target ROAS, or some of the other ones that we looked at. The next ones are our clicks-focused bid strategies. They're pretty self-explanatory. They're focused on clicks, not conversions. And the first one here is maximize clicks. Now, I use this quite a lot. So this is literally just where you give Google a daily budget, $50 a day, and Google will automatically manage your bids to bring you as many clicks as possible while spending that entire $50 budget per day. Right? So imagine a local blog wants as much traffic as possible within that budget of $50 per day, but they want a steady and consistent ad spend. So they're focused on traffic. This is the perfect bid strategy for them, maximize clicks. Now what they can then do in the system is select maximize clicks and add a maximum cost per click bid limit. So this is very common. So I might set us on maximize clicks with $50 per day and then say that I'm not willing to spend any more than $5 per click throughout the day. So I'll get as many clicks as I can, but I'm not going to spend more than $5. So that's a really good way to approach it. Sometimes, of course, you simply have to spend more because it's too competitive a market and you can't possibly spend $50 per day at less than $5 per click. So there are sort of nuances that come in, but again, super useful bid strategy. The next one to look at is manual CPC. Now this is just full manual control, pretty rarely used, I got to say, and it's just setting manual bids for clicks, right? So imagine, for an example, you're an art supply store, you sell a wide range of goods, however, you're most interested in selling paintbrushes. Right, so what you can do is you can have one ad group with 15 keywords. You can have paintbrushes, easels, pencils, erasers, all sorts of things. But then we can bid differently according to each of those keywords. So we can pay more money for the paintbrushes keyword than we want to for the, for the crayons keyword, for example. So that's an interesting way you can use manual CPC. Now, manual CPC simply looks like this. We're going to select manual CPC. We're going to leave it at that, and then I will go and select bids per keyword in my ad group and keyword sections. The final one to look at is target impression share. So this is when we're literally setting bids with the goal of reaching a certain percentage of available impressions, and that's actually as determined by us. So we determine the exact percentage that we want the system to reach. So this can be effective particularly for brand campaigns. So for example, if you're Nike or any brand and you want to appear at the absolute top of the results page 100% of the time anyone searches for you, because you do not want Adidas or sort of Puma, any of your competitors appearing above you. So this can be a good bid strategy to use in that kind of context. So when we implement this bid strategy, you'll see that we actually have three options. So we select target impression share. Now we can choose between focusing on anywhere on the results page, the top of the results page, or the absolute top of the results page. So to clarify what I mean, if we imagine we've done a search for Nike shoes here, this particular spot right now is the absolute top of page. Any of these sort of four would be considered the top of page results, and then down the bottom, if there were ads down the bottom, these would be considered anywhere on the results page. So that's a way that we can really just leverage these three options and then set a target. So I might go 100, absolute top of results page 100% of the time, and I don't have a maximum CPC limit because I just want to appear there because I'm Nike and I can afford anything. So that's an example of when you might use target impression share, really just for branded campaigns.